Hello, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are around the world, and a huge welcome to today's Postgrad and LLM Insights, which today is brought to you by Temple University, Beasley School of Law. Now, just before we get into things, just a reminder, once again, today's session is live. If you have any questions at all, if you're watching on Zoom, put it in the Q&A or the chat facility. That will be running for the next 45 minutes to an hour. So if you have anything at all and you're on there, please put it in there. If you have any issues at all and you're on social media, whether you're watching on X, if you scrolled up and you're on LinkedIn or you're on Facebook, please message us directly. Please don't put it in the actual post itself because we won't see it. So please put the messenger facility on Postgrad Solutions and we'll see that one. But for now, I'd like to hand you over to Sabria. She'll be taking you over to the next 35 minutes and I'll be back for the Q&A at the end. Over to you, Sabria.
My name is Sabria McWilliams, and I'm the Assistant Director of Global Legal Studies here at the University of Temple. Temple Beasley School of Law is located in Philadelphia, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about our campus in Philadelphia, but also our campus in Rome and the opportunities to study law in both places. So I'll start with our main campus and talking a little bit about that. But I also have two students that will join me at the end to talk a little bit more about their experience. Because although I love talking about Temple University, I think the students will do a great job in sharing their personal experience about being here and studying in our LLM programs and participating in our Rome program. So let's dive in. So the first thing I really want to touch on, as my slides advance slowly, is that Temple University has a long legacy. We are one of the longest running programs in the United States. Our law program was founded in 1895. With over 125 years of history, our legitimacy and longstanding dedication are well recognized around the world. Temple University also has very strong rankings. We are very highly ranked in a lot of our programs. We're ranked number one, typically in trial advocacy by the U.S. News. In 2022 and 2023, we were ranked number one. 2024, we were ranked number two, but we're usually one or two in that program. So very strong rankings with our trial advocacy program. But we also have lots of other rankings with international law. We were ranked number 10 with our healthcare, ranked 17. Our legal research and writing, we were ranked 25. And our healthcare, legal healthcare, ranked 17. So when it comes to the students that are coming here, they are joining a community of teaching experts that are striving for excellence and pushing their students to strive for excellence as well. Now, one of the other things that our students really love about our LLM curriculum here is that it's very flexible. When you come, you have 24 required courses that you have to take, or 24 credits that you have to take, only 2 required courses for our LLM. So that means the rest of the credits that you're taking are actually elective classes. And the 2 required courses that students will take through this program are legal research and writing, which we are ranked number 25 in legal research and writing, and introduction to the American legal system. Now, these classes are actually they are actually designed to help international students enter the mainstream American law school. You will get to know your international cohort as well. You're going to be taking these classes with the cohort that you come in with, so you'll build a community within your international students that are coming in that same cohort. But aside from that, all of the rest of your classes are electives. And you're going to be taking those classes with other JD students. So as well as getting to know your cohort, you're really going to be getting to know the JD students on our campus as well. So some of the tracks that students are most interested in when they come and they study are business and commercial law, compliance law, and international law. And also many of our students are interested in taking the bar. And so we also offer a track with all of the bar subjects that you would be required to know for taking the bar. And so you have very flexible options as you come and study based on your interests as well. Now, one of the other things that I think is very important, and that is very important being Temple University and who we are, is that students really get to dive into experiential learning. So experiential learning is learning that applies to real life practice. Being in a large city, which I'll talk about in a few slides, really lends itself to students really getting that hands-on practice and gaining the lawyering skills and legal judgment that prepares them for all aspects of their future careers. We offer an externship course with placement opportunities to intern in various legal settings across Philadelphia. And our legal research and writing course, as well as our professional responsibility course, focus on practical skills that students will use throughout their time here. We are extremely focused in building your lawyering skills. So when you finish, you actually have concrete skills that you'll be using, and you have the experience that employers are looking for. And some of our externships also offer various placements. So you can be in a government agency, in courts, and law firms based on your interests. You have all of these different opportunities. And you also really get to know the Philadelphia community as well through these experiences. Now, as I mentioned, a lot of our students are interested in taking the bar. So many of our LLM students, they have their plan to enroll in courses that will make them eligible to sit for the bar exams. And we work with students in looking at the courses that will best fit their needs when they need to take them as well. Now, each of the 50 states in the US has their own requirements for the bar. So we offer guidance to the students depending on the specific state that they'd like to take the bar. Typically, our students will take the bar in New York or California because they have the most flexible requirements for international students. So we most likely will prepare you for either one of those states, but we're really looking to see what you want and how we can best serve you based on your interest. But we have curriculum that is designed to prepare you for whatever your path may be. And if it is going for the bar, we want to make sure that we do that as well. We have the classes to prepare you and advising to make sure that you get there. Now, one of the other things that I mentioned is being in the city of Philadelphia. So let's talk a little bit about the city of Philadelphia. It's going to be your new favorite city. It is right in between, strategically located in between New York City and Washington, D.C. It's 2 hours from New York City, 2 hours from Washington, D.C. But one of the great things about our city, you don't need to go to New York City or Washington, D.C. to really experience city living and a fantastic time because Philadelphia has it all. Philadelphia is a wonderful place to study, to work if you choose to stay in the area as well, and to experience college life. Actually, Philadelphia has lots of colleges and universities, so you're in a very young city. There's lots of other college students and young professionals here working and living. So it is a vibrant city, and the city lends itself to all sorts of things, internships, externships, as well as lots of opportunities to experience going out into the city, going to museums. We have about 20 different museums in the city. We have lots of restaurants. We usually have restaurant week here where you get to taste lots of different things, especially the Philly cheesesteak, which is something that we're known here for, our Philadelphia pretzels. There's lots of movies, outdoor movies and sporting events as well. Right here on this slide, you see our basketball team, our 76ers, but we have Eagles, we have baseball, Philadelphia Phillies. So that's a really exciting scene in addition to our temple sports as well. So those are things that you can really get involved with. We also have lots of green space. We have parks and walking trails. We also have lots of different companies here as well. We have many Fortune 500 companies here in the city. And one of the things that you'll learn when you're coming here, Philadelphia was the first capital. And so here we have things like the Declaration of Independence. It's where the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution were signed as well. And so lots of history here and lots of things to do and lots of ways to experience being in our city of Philadelphia. Now, in addition to being in the community of Philadelphia, one of the great things of coming to Temple is experiencing the culture of Temple University. You become part of a global family. You become part of our OWL community. Our mascot is a temple owl. And so you're a part of this larger university, but also you have a smaller university, a smaller community within the law school, and also your cohort of international students. So you have a lot of support all within our university as well. You're going to have strong support while you're here from faculty, from staff, and from other students. You can get a lot of one-on-one attention with advising. We also have the Writing Center if you need help with some of your writing. One of the things that we also offer is conversation partners. So if English is not your first language and you want to practice a little conversation, because one of the things that our students will most notice coming from other countries when they come to study in the US, our classes are based on a lot of discussion. And so you are talking in the classroom more so than you've probably ever been talking. And so you might want to practice those conversations and practice having those discussions outside of the classroom in a low stress area. And so conversation partners can help with that. We also have in many of our classes teaching assistants. And so they can help you outside of the classroom with some of the work that you're doing. And these teaching assistants are students that have taken the class that you're taking before, and they have good grades in that class. They earn good grades, and they're helping you to also achieve the same success. We have academic counselors that are there to help you, again, with selecting classes. And if you have different needs in the classes, making sure that you're being heard, your needs are being met as well to make sure that you are successful. We also have a study partners program that's hosted through our International Law Society. And so if you need a study partner just to look over your notes with you, to help you as you go along with your classes, we want to make sure that in all ways here, you are successful. Our success at Temple University is built off of the success of our students. So we want to do everything we can to make sure that in our classes, you are succeeding and that you're doing well. Now, the other part of our success is making sure that after you graduate from our LLM program, after you finish your classes here, that you also land a job and land a career that you really love. And so we have dedicated career services here. And our dedicated career service office hosts things like mock interviews. You have help with your resume writing or your cover letter writing. And that's when you're here as a student. And also for our alumni, they can access that at any time. And that's something that, again, students are surprised by. Even when you leave, it can be years out. You can reach back out to our career service office and get the help that you need if you're changing your career path, if you're going to a different firm, and maybe you want to, again, have someone look over your information and improve that. You can reach out to our career service center, and we are here to help. We also host different things like lectures on campus for students and finding a job and finding jobs in international law or many different areas as well. And we have countless networking events. We have countless job fairs for students to really take advantage and meeting those employers, meeting those firms before they graduate. And so there's lots of opportunities to really, again, connect with employment opportunities before you graduate. And once again, we have assistance on helping students select classes that help them to qualify for the bar. So hopefully, at this point of my presentation, everyone is really excited and they want to apply. So I'd like to walk you through some of the steps on how do you apply for Temple University. So one of the first steps is completing your application. We have two ways to complete your application. You can either apply with LSAC or apply directly to our university on our webpage. One of the things that you're going to submit is your official law transcript or proof that you have your lawyering license from your home country. We need 2 letters of recommendation, a personal statement from you on your intentions of studying here, your resume, and if you're not coming from an English-speaking country, we do require proof of English proficiency. If you're taking a TOEFL exam, score of 88, an IELTS exam, a score of a 6.5. And if you're taking the dual lingual English test, then a score of 115. Now, for those students who fall just below these requirements, we also have a conditional admission program. So if you do fall just below or you're worried about that English score, we will still consider your application, but we might require you to take some additional English classes before fully joining our law program. Now, we have an application fee of $50. You can reach out to us if you need that waived. And we have two different start times. Now, if you are applying for the spring, which is our next opportunity to join our LLM program, that deadline would be October 1st. And that program, that start time runs January, and then it runs through May. And so if you are interested in joining as soon as possible, I'll encourage you to scan that QR code on the screen and start your application to start in January. Now, if you need a little bit more time, then that's okay as well. We have a fall start of August, and you would apply for that by April 15th. So if you needed time in gathering all of these documents, gathering your information, maybe researching information a little bit more, reaching out to us, I'm always happy to talk to students about the application process. Then take some time and apply by April 15th. And again, you can scan that QR code to take you right to the application itself. So let's talk about the value of the education and the investment that you'll make as well. So for the 2023-2024 year, our tuition was $17,160 per semester. So yearly, that's $34,320. Now, as you're starting to look at law schools, this cost is extremely reasonable. And especially if you're looking at law schools in major cities, what you're going to find is that our tuition is very reasonable. Living in the city of Philadelphia, the cost of Philadelphia is very reasonable as you start to consider, again, cities on the East Coast, more affordable than New York City, more affordable than Washington, D.C., and our tuition, again, as you start to cost compare with schools that offer what we offer to our students, this cost is a great deal and a great investment for your legal education and what you'll get out of it and what we put into you as a student. Now, again, I talked a little bit about how the cost of living in Philadelphia is much lower. That's one other thing that you need to consider as you're looking at different places. As you look at places in the US, each place that you live is going to have a different cost. And the city of Philadelphia being the sixth largest city in the US, the cost of living is one of the least expensive costs as you start to compare from city to city. So on a semester basis, it's about $11,000 for your living expenses. If you look at that on a yearly basis, that's about $22,000. So I urge you to cost compare, to look at other schools, and then to come back to think about the value that Temple University offers. All of the things that I've mentioned in this presentation as far as the flexible curriculum, as far as our rankings and our teaching excellence, and look at those things compared to the cost, and you're going to see that we offer great value and it is a good investment for your education. Now, our mission from the beginning, from our roots, is to always try to keep our costs low to make it as affordable as possible for our students. Now, we also do offer partial scholarships based on merit. So if you have good grades, if you had good grades from your previous schools, we want to see that, and we want to reward you with partial scholarships. And so that's something that we are dedicated to. So I promised you that I would also talk a little bit about some of our other programs, our program in Rome, which is a very exciting program that I'm always happy to talk about in addition to our LL.M program here in Philadelphia. So we offer a 4-week legal program in the city of Rome, known as the Eternal City. Temple University, again, is a global campus, and we have a campus in the city of Rome, where we take our law students each year for 4 weeks to take 3 classes and up to 5 ABA approved credits that you can earn. You can earn them to go toward the LLM in Philadelphia as a starting point, or you can come and start your program here. You can go over the summer and continue on with your LLM program, having those 5 credits added towards your degree. So this is a great benefit to our students. This year, we will have international civil litigation as one of our classes, advising the multinational corporation and global legal aspects is another one of our classes. And we have another class that's called Global Legal Perspectives. And this class offers lots of different lecturers that are from Italy or other countries in Europe, talking about the perspective of law from whatever their field is from that European perspective. In addition, this program goes on lots of field trips. So you get to go to you get to visit the Supreme Court. You get to go to Borgo di Tragliata, which is a small town in Rome. So you get to enjoy all of the things of being in Rome, all of the excitement of being in this wonderfully beautiful city, as well as earning credit and building out your network as well. So you're going to be taking classes with American JD students, but we also have lots of international students joining the program as well. So you have great opportunities to network across the globe. Now, the tuition for this program is $3,700. We have a program fee, a small program fee of $400, and an application fee of $50 that can be waived upon request. And so if you scan this QR code, it will take you to the application for our Rome program. Now, at this point in the presentation, I'd like to take a minute and pause to welcome our 2 students that are here to talk a little bit more about their experience at Temple University. So I'd like to welcome Alice and Mohammed to join and to, thank you so much, to turn on their cameras. And I'll have each of them introduce themselves. And then I'm going to ask them a few questions so they can talk a little bit more about their experience as students here at Temple University. So welcome, Alice. Welcome, Ash. I know Ash will be back in just a minute. Alice, I'll give you the opportunity if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Yeah, hey, I'm Alice. I am from Germany. I was an exchange student at Temple Law in 2019, and then I came back to Germany after my semester abroad, finished my degree here, and then I went back to Temple in January of this year to get my master's in law, and I graduated in May.
Congratulations again, Alice.
Thank you.
Ash, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
My name is Ash. I'm all the way from Saudi Arabia. I started my LLM program in the spring of 2024, so by this year, and I'll be graduating this semester in December, hopefully. And I also did the Rome program.
Thank you so much for that, Ash. One question I'd like to ask for both of you is, why did you choose Temple University? So Ash, let's start with you. Why did you choose Temple University for your LLM program?
It was recommended by my government because I have a scholarship from my government, and I think that I was really attracted by the abroad programs that Temple provided, the Tokyo program, the Rome program. So I wanted to be part of that. I wanted to have an international perspective when studying in Temple, and at the same time, I knew that living in Philadelphia would fulfill my expectations of living a very entertaining short period of life. Not very short though, but a very exciting part. And I did feel like everything I expected was here, and I don't regret it at all.
Thank you so much for that. Alice, you're also an exchange student. So tell me why you selected Temple University to first do your exchange and then for your LLM.
Yeah, so my university has a couple of partnerships with the law schools in the States. And I was looking at all of these law schools and had to make a decision for myself where I would like to go. And I did some research and then chose Temple because, as you mentioned, Temple has really good rankings. So I was thinking the education I would get there would be the best out of all of the universities. And then another thing that made me choose Temple was that it is in a big city. So you go abroad for the academic experience, but also to grow and meet new people, experience a lot. And I think Philadelphia is a great place for that.
Thank you. Now, Ash, you're a current student. And so now you have one complete year down of your program. Tell me your impressions of the program, the faculty, and the resources, some of your first impressions that you gained.
I think that I was really surprised of the professors and the resources that we had. When it comes to the professors, I feel like all of them had such a positive influence on me throughout my studying period, especially that they don't only help us when it comes to the academic area of the period that we are in Temple, but also that they instruct us on a personal level. It's really professional, but very helpful at the same time. When it comes to the resources, I felt like I was diving in a deep ocean of a lot of electronic resources. We had the Nexus and the Westlaw, which are two huge platforms that we use in the law school to help us look up cases and study generally for any subject that we have. If I start explaining what those platforms are, I wouldn't stop talking because of how broad they are when it comes to providing legal informations. So I think, yeah, that's by it.
Great. And Alice, can you talk a little bit more about the support that you received from faculty, staff, and other students while you were a student here?
Yeah, so as Ash already said, you get a lot of support from your professors. You go to office hours and they take a lot of their time to really help you and answer all the questions you have. You can also go to them with questions you were afraid to ask in class if you're not feeling comfortable enough to ask in front of all these people. And I remember there were times where we're sitting in an office for like 1 hour or 1.5 hours, and they were so patient and helpful, which was really great.
Good to hear. So, Ash, this question is for you. What courses or professors have made the biggest impact on you thus far?
I think both the international dispute resolution and the education law that I did in Rome were very positive on me personally and academically, as I said. Um, but I think that Professor Kristen Murray had a very good influence on me because she kind of um, teaches the course with a very passionate way. And I found that in a lot of the professors in Temple as well. Um, I had a personal experience that she really helped me with, and I really appreciate that very much. And that kind of made me get rid of the stereotypical image of having a barrier between a student and a professor. So I think that any student would go through a lot of things abroad because they are foreigners for this period. And I would just say that you don't have to worry. All the faculty know and have enough experience to understand that each student is international and each student is a human and each student is very ambitious to achieve a lot of things. And I think the faculty are here to help you to achieve that.
Now, Ash, I'm going to follow up with another question because one of the classes that you mentioned was a class that we offered in our Rome program. What advice do you have students that may be interested in the Rome program? What advice would you have for them?
I think that if they want to improve a lot of the skills that they have, not only on a written pattern, but also when it comes to the oral communication and the global perspective um, area, I think the program is really convenient to start with. In the same time, I feel like it's a great combination between entertainment and education. Um, I would totally recommend to register for the Rome program. And I know that it might sound a little um, nerve-wracking to say oral communication, but you would see a lot of people from different places, not only from Temple, and that kind of gives the classroom a bit more of an international flavor, and it's really fun. I think that even like outside the classroom, we had a lot of activities and a lot of things that I didn't expect to see in Italy. Um, it was really fun.
Thank you. And Alice, now you're back home. So tell me a little bit about how the program prepared you to practice law internationally and in your specialized field.
So I'm not practicing internationally or within a specialized field yet because I still have 2 more years of traineeship to do here. But for when I'm going to start practicing internationally, I think the program has prepared me in a couple of different ways. So first of all, I got the chance to get to know another legal system. Um, American law is a common law system, and I am from a civil law system here in Germany. And I think knowing two legal systems is what is gonna set me apart from like my competitors on the job market. And then secondly, I was able to take specialized classes, like for example, mergers and acquisitions or introduction to intellectual property, classes that I couldn't take at my university back home. So I think that was a great opportunity for me because I would like to pursue a career in corporate law. And then last but not least, spending the year in the States and in a legal environment made me feel way more comfortable speaking English because obviously English is not my native language. And I think feeling comfortable speaking English when you want to work internationally is extremely important.
Great. Thank you so much for that. Now, I talked a little bit more about Philadelphia, but I would love to hear your experience about living in the city of Philadelphia, things that were rewarding outside of the classroom as well, living in the city. Or living in the city, or in your case, Ash, you went to Rome as well, talking about the experience outside of the classroom in Rome.
I think when it comes to Philadelphia, I feel like the diversity is really insane. Um, but in a positive way, of course. I feel like the nightlife is really amazing. The people here are really nice, and I think that I wouldn't have chosen any other city because each city in the United States or in any part of the world has its ups and downs. You would find the bad, you would find the good. You have to know where to go exactly, but we have a lot of landmarks that are really attractive and really fun to visit, like the museum, the parks, as you mentioned, Sabria earlier. And I think that it's a very sporty city as well. You would get the chance to see an atmosphere that's really energetic. If you attend any of the sports matches, whether it was football, basketball, baseball, or etc. And when it comes to Rome, I think that the food there was better than I expected it to be. It was really great, and I feel like Rome also had a different um, vibe than the vibe that I like saw in the East and in the West as well. I visited a lot of European countries and a lot of countries in Asia, but Rome had a different atmosphere. And I think that it's an experience to go to and experience yourself because it's really indescribable.
Thank you, Alice.
Yeah, so I can agree with Ash. It's an extremely cool city. As Ash already said, it's very diverse. So you meet so many people with such different backgrounds, and it's just interesting to hear all these stories from people with different backgrounds. And then the city itself, as you already said during your presentation, it's 1.5 hours by train to New York City. It's 2 hours to Washington. Like the location couldn't be better, and the cost of living is definitely cheaper. So on the weekends, I just took the train up to New York, was there for a day, and then went back to Philly, and it was great. Um, and it's a very historical place. As we all know, Philly was the birthplace of America. So it's really cool to live in such an important and historic city. And yeah, as Ash also said, the Philly sports scene is intense and very cool if you're into sports. So yeah, it's a very good city that has a lot to offer. And also like the restaurant scene is like Philly's known for its restaurant scene. And every week me and my friends try at a new place. And yeah, there's a lot to do here besides studying.
So I'd like to ask you both this question as well. What advice would you give to other students on this call that are considering an LLM at Temple University, considering going to a Rome program? What advice would you give them as they're looking at the application process, as they're looking at applying, and ultimately looking at possibly enrolling? What would you tell them?
I would just say, just go for it and apply to Temple Law and choose to go to Temple Law. It's an incredible school with great resources. You get so much support, and compared to other law schools in the States, the tuition fees are extremely reasonable for the academic experience you get here. And when it comes to your application, I mean, put effort into it, but trust yourself. It's doable.
I would say that it might sound stressing at first, but once you just get along with the wave, like the flow is going to be very flexible. Choose your courses carefully. You have to understand what criteria do you want to put for yourself in order to register the right courses. I also recommend that you have a very good mental status in order to just, go through the period in a way that's not um, with a huge pressure, and just enjoy it. As Alice said, it's very doable and it will pass. So just enjoy every single moment in it. Don't just focus on education.
Thank you. That was some great advice from both of you. Now, if you are interested in applying, you have the link from the QR code before, but I also wanted you to know that we are here for you as you are considering applying to Temple University. And as you apply to Temple University, you can reach out to us, contact us if you have any questions. And who is this us? So I work on a team. My name is Sabria McWilliams once again, and I'm the Assistant Director of Global Legal Studies. But I also have my colleagues, Karen McMichael and John Smagula. John Smagula is the Assistant Dean of our department, and Karen McMichael is the Director of the International Law Programs. And they help here with any application questions that you have with your enrollment and advising. And we're here to support you throughout your legal journey. And so we urge you to reach out to us with any questions that you may have in the process. Thank you so much.
Sabria, thank you. And thank you to Alice and Ash as well. That was a really good insight into how the place is. And that's where I kind of want to start. And there's been a couple of questions come in on Zoom about scholarships and finance, but I think before any of that, we need to talk about the place. And it's interesting that we actually finished with John and Karen, because when we did the webinar last year with John, I've never met anyone more passionate about Philly And then John, he absolutely loves it. And it comes across so well. And hearing from Ash and Alice there, and I know Ash, obviously, you did your Rome campus as well. But I want to kind of get across about how important it is about where you're studying. You're not studying in the hustle and bustle of New York or Los Angeles or Chicago. You're studying in quite a large city, in quite a well-known state, um, but a well-known city for its cosmopolitan nature, if you like,
Right.
in terms of different varieties, different people, different mindsets, different opinions, and different ways of living. And I think that's so important. Alice, can I just ask you about, because I appreciate I've just made a statement there, but if I can ask you about um, the actual place, what it's like to live, because a lot of people will be making a life change. It's a huge challenge coming from whether you're coming from Europe, whether you're coming from Africa. How welcoming was it as a place when you first arrived?
I personally have found it extremely welcoming. So when I was there as an exchange student, I was living with three American girls. Like I was looking for places to sublet in a temple housing Facebook group, and I found these girls that offered me to live with them, and they showed me everything in Philly, and I'm still in touch with them to this day. I lived with them also during my last semester. So yeah, the people were extremely open and helpful, and also strangers are so helpful, and they offer support. Like it's very different to people in Germany who are way more reserved. So I honestly didn't have problems like feeling comfortable
Settling
in.
in, yeah, it's fantastic. And Ash, if I can come to you, I find, not that I don't find your story, Alice, fascinating at all, but Ash, obviously from Saudi Arabia, would have you heard of the Rome campus at all? Obviously, when you went to the Saudi Arabian government in terms of the scholarship, would have that even crossed your mind to begin with? And therefore, how great has it been that it's, Temple in Rome has happened?
So in Saudi Arabia, we have like a full list of universities that we can apply to. So I did look up all the universities. There were a lot of prestigious universities along with Temple, without mentioning names, but Temple had a program that I felt like fulfills what exactly I'm looking for. I want to be eligible for the bar exam, and in the same time, I wanted a orientation as a boost as an international student before like starting the program itself, and Temple provided that as well. It's a 1 week like orientation lecture before the start of the program. And when I came to Temple, I sat down with Sabria. I discussed the Rome program. She explained to me exactly what it offers and what kind of things that happen. I also contacted previous students who did the program, and I was really excited to do it. And as I said, I don't regret ever registering for the Rome program, because when I went there, it was an amazing experience, an unforgettable one. And it's really unique because it's offered during the summer, which also means that you would get to see people from around the globe, because Rome is one of the most essential cities when it comes to tourism. So the diversity there as well was very great.
Excellent. Sabria, if I can come back to you, I think I've actually got a question that's come through on social media to say if they're from an emerging country, let's just say, for instance, they're from one of the smaller African nations,
Mhm.
and they apply for a visa in the US, one of the F1 visas to get the course program. If that comes back negative and they're not able to apply for that program, is it as simple as you can recommend, why don't you try the Rome program?
So that we think is possible. And so we do urge students to possibly take advantage of, if not coming to our Philadelphia campus, to our Rome campus. And we'd like them to start there. And that might also encourage the embassies to look at, hey, they're invested, they're doing our Rome program. Maybe later on in the future, they might be able to come to our Philadelphia campus. And so students can look at that as an option if they're not able to come to our Philadelphia campus. And we want it to be a viable option and one that ultimately will lead to coming to Philadelphia for our LLM, although it doesn't have to. And that in itself is an experience on its own, but can be, again, a part of our Philadelphia program, which students can hopefully later take advantage of. We have no control over whether the embassies issue visas, but we will do everything we can in our power. If you want to take our program, whether it's in Rome or become part of our LLM program here, we will do everything in our power to get you here so you can be a part of our community.
And just sticking on the visa theme, it's a very international audience that's going to be watching, so I think it's worthwhile. If a student wants to come over on their F1 visa, you think typically on the visa you get 30 days. You can arrive before your program is due to begin. With the summer school that you guys offer, where they can come and maybe scratch up on their English, get to know the place a little bit better, will that be taken into account? So if they come for a summer school earlier, can they therefore just adjust that little bit earlier as well? Is that possible?
For our Rome program?
Yeah.
For our Rome program, it's not an F1 visa, so they probably wouldn't be able to come as early as they would for our Philadelphia program. But certainly to get adjusted, we recommend coming just a little bit earlier, but probably just not as much time would be granted for our Rome program because it is not a student visa that students would be on to visit there. Because it's such a short program, it's a month-long program. Students aren't there for a very long time, but it is a lot in 4 short weeks. So again, we will do anything we can. We work with sending you documentation. We send a letter, an invitation letter to you in English and Italian. We make sure that we have all of the information gathered for you to help you with that process.
Excellent. And just finally to wrap up as well, Sabria, Alice and Ash would have been through this themselves, the personal statement, resume process. Well, what the Beasley School of Law look for? Because there's a lot of law schools that will look for the academic side of things, and they will look for, I hate using this word, but intelligence. Everyone's intelligent in their own way, but they will look at the grades that they've received. And there's other law schools that will purely look at a personality of the student. Is there a nice blend there for you guys, or is there one favored over the other to begin with?
Well, I think you said it when you said a blend. We look at the applications holistically. We want to see that first and foremost, we do want to see that you're going to be academically suitable for our university. And what that means is that your grades indicate that you'll be successful here. We don't want to set up anyone for failure. And so if your grades indicate that you will be a great academic fit, then that's what we want to see first and foremost. But we'll also look at your letter as well, your personal statement, to see authenticity, to see what you want to study, what your goals are. And that's very important for us too, in joining our community and how we advise you. And so we look at both of those things. We want you to be academically ready for the classes that you're taking here, but we're also looking at how you will fit into our community and what your goals are and how we can help you to reach those goals.
And just, I think while we're on that topic as well, personal statement, the value of AI, because it is very, very part of our lives now in every aspect you can think of. And I think that people hear personal statements, AI, and it's a very easy way of helping the student, let's put it that way. How important is it that you do come across in a very human and yourself in a personal statement? Because ultimately the only person you're cheating is yourself, really.
That is correct. And again, one of the things that we're looking for is that authenticity and that voice of the student. And that's something that AI, although I know that many students use it, can't necessarily capture. So we want to know the goals of the students, where they're coming from as well. And so having those key elements and understanding who the student is when they come in. That's something that we know that AI cannot necessarily capture. And the writing of the student, if they're using AI, we want to we know that a lot of students are using it. It's something that we are looking into how do we embrace it and use it, but not depend on it. And so students will learn that they're going to have to do a lot of writing here at Temple University. They cannot plagiarize. They cannot depend on it. It will be very evident if they are using it, because they're going to do a lot of writing in their classes, a lot of writing for their classes, but to use it when necessary and use it effectively and know when to use it and when not to use it. And so that's something as well. But we want to see that authentic voice. We will see that authentic voice because we've done a lot of reading of applications and we understand what that looks like as well. And so as you look to come to Temple University, I urge you to be yourself, to write as yourself as well. Don't depend too heavily on using AI as a part of your application, as a part of your education, as far as leaning on it for everything. We want you to be independent thinkers. And that's a reason why a lot of students will come to the US as well, because the difference in education, as far as we want you to form your own opinions and independent thoughts and not be dependent on anyone or anything else to be self-sufficient in your skills, including writing.
Absolutely. And it's important to point out, let it help you, don't let it hinder you. And I think that's so important. Sabria, Alice and Ash as well, thank you for your time. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your days to talk about Temple, to talk about the US LLM programs that you guys offer. So we look forward to seeing you next year, Sabria. Hopefully we'll catch up in the new year and go into it in more detail. Alice and Ash, wish you all the best with your studies. Hope everything goes well, and we hope to see you, hopefully, fingers crossed, with alumni. So we'll catch you very soon, and thank you for your time. Appreciate it.